good morning, everybody. How y'all are? Welcome to Hobby Hotline. It is one of the live card show, talk show thingamabobs on YouTube. Yeah, this is not the professional show and the professional quality of your Texas card dude. I'm still half asleep from yucking it up with John Newman last night. So forgive me for my laziness. I apologize, but don't beat me too bad today. What is up, Mr. Logan? Today with us, the great, the awesome, the amazing, the one, the only Chris Harris. How are you, sir?
Oh, you're talking about me? Oh,
yes.
I was going to say, he cannot be talking about me.
And we saw some guy named Jeff. What's going on, fellas?
What's up?
What's going on? Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday. So I know that everything's been kind of crazy and chaotic and all that entails. I got one question for you, Chris. Have you found anything at Target lately?
Well, I got some vitamins. I needed those. I got some ibuprofen because I was out, and some toothpaste.
But do you have any cards?
Didn't notice any. I don't think they were selling them at this Target that I went to,
Chris,
or any other Target.
Chris, did you hit the restock on the vitamins at least?
Yeah, I was able to pick up a dozen, and they're currently on my eBay account right now.
Yeah, nice.
Flipping vitamins. I can't wait to start flipping toilet paper again, man.
Yeah. out here in the Virginia, DC area, they're flipping gallons of gasoline. So.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Are they doing it from like trash bags?
From trash bags, yeah.
Did you guys run out of gas? There's some states.
There were some stations, and I actually was in my office for the first time in over a year on Thursday.
Wow.
It's kind of creepy seeing a 2020 calendar. Streets of Washington were just, even at 12:30 in the afternoon, they would normally be packed. Nobody on the streets. Two of my favorite lunch places went out of business. So sorry about that.
Well,
but yeah, it was kind of bizarre going into the office for the first time in over a year. So
yeah.
But as for gas, there were a lot of pumps that were out. So hopefully over the next couple of days, hopefully before this weekend, because this weekend is the Chantilly show.
Yeah, Chantilly.
So, and I will be there Friday night. So if any of the East Coast peeps watching this, or if there's anybody who's not going to the Dallas Card Show, apparently I'm the only person on Hobby Hotline who is not going to be at this Dallas Card Show.
Oh, I'm not either. So that makes two of us.
Okay, well, come on up, come on down to Washington then.
What's up, Mr. Ron? What's up, Logan?
Oh, Biggie.
So anyway, Friday night, 5 to 8, I will be there. So I'm usually over by what I like to call the dollar box of doom guy.
There you go.
If you're familiar with the way the Dulles Expo Center is set up, it's over by the snack bar. So if you see me,
by the snack bar.
Shut up. I'm working on it. All right.
No, I just there he is. I was just about to say good morning to the shop at Moco. Good morning to everybody there. Appreciate y'all joining us, and good to see that Logan will be there in Dallas this weekend. If anybody's coming next weekend, I'm going to be there. A lot of the guys from Hobby Hotline are going to be there. Make sure you shake a paw. And if you really want to aggravate Rich Klein, walk up to him and try to give him a big old wet sloppy kiss and take your mask off, because that'll really I know I'm going to pay for it later. You know I'm going to pay for it later. But no, let's talk about Target for a second. Let's kind of circle back to cards. I know that we have some very great. We know there's an incident that happened. Target reacted by, they reacted by doing a corporate responsible thing. I can understand 100% after everything that they've been through and trying to protect their employees and trying to protect their family and people that shop there. It's just sad and it's disconcerting and it's kind of shaking up the hobby a little bit. I know that I don't go to Target just because in Walmart just because I just don't. I don't do the retail rat race, but I do think that it's going to completely change the landscape of retail, at least for the short time, and then depending on what they're going to do long term, and then what is it going to do to Walmart? Does that push everybody now going to be in line at Walmart, and how does Walmart? I mean, there's just this whole spiral effect of what's going on. I'm kind of concerned. And what I'm really, one of the things that I'm concerned about is, does that go online? So then you get into cook groups, bots, and that whole problem and situation. I'm a little concerned about what's going on. But I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I mean, they got to protect their customers. They got to protect their employees. They have a corporate responsibility. Chris, what do you help me here. What are you going to do other than, I don't know, jack the price up? Or
I think that's where this may be going in the short run. I remember maybe like 20 years ago when the blaster box format was first introduced, and they had varying levels of blaster prices. Like there was a $15 blaster, a $20 blaster. Even some products had $35 blasters, but it's kind of settled at that $19.99 price point for 7 or 8 packs now for about a decade and a half. And I think you're going to see blaster boxes go up in price to maybe the $25 or $30 price point. Mm-hmm. These manufacturers aren't stupid. They're seeing products that they're selling for $19.99 and they're being flipped for like $40, $50, $60, and they're not getting anything out of that. I think another thing that should happen over the long run is, does every single retail SKU, does every single pack format really have to have its own special insert? You take a product like, I don't know, Topps Series 1, and you have retail loose packs, jumbo packs, blasters. What am I missing? Value boxes. And it seems like each one has its own special insert in it. Mm-hmm. Why? I mean, it's gotten to the point where maybe someday we might have a product where there's a special parallel that's numbered to 99 and it's only available in blaster boxes sold at Target that are in the central time zone on days starting with T.
And it's Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, Bren. Yeah. Wow, there's a deep cut there. Do we really need this much value in products, in retail products? I mean, these are supposed to be the gateway drug to non-collectors, retail products. And if there's no retail products on the market because they're too valuable, does that really serve the hobby all that well? I don't think so. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's more I think that parallel in those special inserts, it's obviously driven to to bring the collectors and bring the people to kind of want to also dab into it or buy it or purchase it, right? You get a lot of, depending upon who the collector is, you got people who collect and they're trying to do rainbows per se, right? So you got
Yeah.
the green exclusive prism, that's in the prism, that's the green, that's the retail only. You got but do they need to do that? I mean, I'm with you. I don't really
I mean,
know.
I understand one retail exclusive insert,
Yeah.
or maybe even a retailer exclusive insert. Like there used to be red prisms that were exclusive to Target, blue prisms that were exclusive to Walmart.
Yep.
But do you need like a different insert for each different pack type?
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
follow what you're saying. So you're saying like the mega to
Yeah.
the blaster to the hanger box to the hanger
Yeah.
box. I think that's what we're talking. Mega blaster
Yeah.
hanger. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I agree. I think it would be if you just did like, of course, last year's Donruss Baseball did the lime green. If you just did lime green as an insert throughout the entire product line, it would keep it a little simpler. Because again, Prism, you got 15 bazillion colors for Prism anyway. But I think that's an interesting concept. But then and Dr. Beckett said this very eloquently. Do you rip all the autographs out and make it completely just for hobby? So then you could literally print it like it's nothing. It devalues the product, but then you go straight to junk wax for retail. I mean, there's that dichotomy there that I'm a little worried about. That okay, let's rip all the prisms out and put in their own special inserts, and let's rip. And I'm picking on Panini because that's the first thing that pops into my head. Let's rip all the autographs out. And let's rip all the relics out. So then you're left with just.
Do those really need to be in retail products though?
They don't. But again, I think that's something that the Topps, Panini, whoever are doing to again drive the collectors and drive the people to want to pursue it, right? Because
well, they're successful on that because that's led to camping out.
That's why we're where we're at now, right? Exactly. And I think another thing to touch on all this is, we're starting to see, like in the Twitter world and stuff, we're starting to see the tweets from people saying, "Hey, I'm done with sports cards," or "This is it.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it anymore."
Yeah.
But I think the more or less of the people we're going to actually lose in this hobby from that are going to be the people that were never really engaged or involved in the hobby, right? They came in because they had this opportunity. They got a connection. They talked to whoever. They got the supply chain, the hookup, if you will. They got the backdoor action, if you will, and they took the opportunity and they seized the moment.
I'm sorry, I just went 5-year-old on that.
Backdoor action.
Yep, a little backdoor action. And I think
who doesn't love a little backdoor action?
Exactly, right? Especially on a Saturday morning. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked.
Sorry about that, Rex. Sorry, earmuffs.
Yeah.
But I think,
kids.
I think the majority of who we're losing or who we're going to lose are the ones that were really never bought into the hobby for what the hobby really is. So
yeah,
they bought into the hype.
Exactly.
And
the greed and the money, and that was it.
Well, I can understand. I can understand where the different. But if you think about what happened like right before COVID, man, there were blasters galore. Like in October, November, December, January, you could find anything on. Yeah, I know, Logan. There goes the PG rating. And I'll probably hear about it later. So yeah.
Well, Well, then I'll be on that list too,
We're
right?
getting demonetized.
we'll all get in trouble later. So
Right.
let's publicly say, I'm sorry.
Sorry. Sorry.
But no, I mean, think about it. As late as January, you could find almost anything that you wanted on the shelves. That you could find, like you could find basketball. I mean, anything. So wow, did that just go
We're
into
talking about January of 2020, right?
right of 2020? Sorry, January
Before
2020. We
COVID,
could
yeah,
do
you said
anything.
kind of before the whole COVID scare.
Yeah.
Yeah. So their lack of production in 2020, or trying to shove everything to retail to get it out, and then we went to COVID, and everybody didn't have anything else to do. Sorry, Logan's comments got me giggling inside. And then, all right,
The hostess with the mostest. Let's go, buddy. Come on.
here I'll put myself in jail for a second. Oh my God!
All right, come.
So I mean, you could find anything. So then there was a huge demand. So in 2021, they overproduced a little bit, and now you've got all this product out there, but nobody can find anything because everybody took their extra money and went and bought. So now what? Now what do you do? Now what? Especially when you've got the bots and the cook groups, and you've got guys with not just shelves, but walls of wax, walls of retail, 8-foot, 10-foot tables of wax. I mean, now what?
I mean, you think you just have to. I mean, it's like anything, right? Anything in life, anything in the world, and anything in this world, you have to adapt, right? You have to, if you're going to continue to be if you're going to continue to be a part of it, you got to adapt and change things a little bit to whatever works best for you in your situation, you as a collector. You know, you hear a lot of talk about a lot of people who, man, I can't afford to rip packs anymore. I can't afford to pay this price. I can't get my hands on the product. But you see a lot of collectors, and I've seen a lot of this, where they've switched more from being that person who liked to rip the packs and chase and have the fun and the enjoyment of opening the product, to more or less going after and buying the singles and buying, like the stuff for the PCs. And I think that's kind of where it stands right now, unless you have that money and unless you want to pay, whatever price, whatever premium they're putting on this product to be able to open it. I mean, I think we're just, we're in a different time. And as we go through life, again, this isn't just in a hobby. This is just in life in general. There's a lot of times where we have to step back and look and change or modify our approach or how we do things. You can still be active. You can still be involved. You don't have to open packs or open boxes of product to be a collector, right?
Right. And
So,
then, go ahead. Sorry, I don't mean
no,
to. Shut up.
I'm pretty much good there. So touch on that. So
Pretty good.
I put myself in jail again. And no, I mean, like, so that leads into the score football at 300. I mean, this is score football we're talking about.
right.
This is score football. Like, I expected it to be at like 200, 225 maybe, but three starting? Are you kidding me?
And how much does this product normally go for?
Normally,
like
last year was like $100.
Yeah, it was $100 a box. Like, not last year's score was like around this price too. But the year before, again, before all this stuff hit and happened and the change, yeah, it was like $100 a box. So,
and it's score football. It's not. This isn't Prism. It's not. There's no. They're not even in full uniform. They're not even in NFL uniforms. There's going to be college uniforms with the NFL logo. Like, I don't get it. I don't. Somebody join in and help me here and try to like, where's Kevin Jones?
And here's something too. I'll say, like, going back to like adapting and maybe going after those singles or buying those players you're going after. You can typically find, like, in most cases, the price still of a lot of singles, unless we're talking graded cards, if you're buying stuff raw, the singles on players in most cases are still way affordable, depending upon who it is and what it is. So again, you can change or adapt to how you are as a collector, and you can go after and buy those, right? So if there's certain rookies you're chasing or going after, buying them raw and not spending $350 on a box of score, going out and getting this once, going after those score rookies that you're looking for, or those players, those vets, if there's vets you're after, or your PC, going after and buying those on eBay or on Comac or wherever you may use, whatever platforms you use, maybe even on the social platforms when people are posting them, right? That's another avenue that you can typically find very good deals, and you can typically, and I'm not saying always, I'm not saying everybody prices always accordingly, like on Twitter or something, but on those sort of Facebook, whatever you use, those platforms, that's another good avenue. I mean, I personally have picked up some very good, very nice PC cards for a way better price than I would have even paid like on eBay or Comac or wherever. And again, it's raw, it's typically raw, but sometimes we just have to adapt. Sometimes we just have to change things when it's just not in our wallet or in our budget to pay a premium, and then to rip a box of score for $350, and there's a good possibility you're not going to get what you're looking for, right?
Go,
You may
Chris.
hit something else, and you may just get you might just get a big bust. You might get the whoever the kicker is this year as your auto or whatever. You just don't know.
This is Chris. This is your wheelhouse. Go, brother.
Yeah, I want to tie this into our previous discussion about Target, because, we look at these pictures and we've all seen the lines, right? People camped out, and we laugh, look at these gullible flippers and money marks. From a lot of the feedback that I've read on Twitter and others that have reached out to me, not all of them are flippers that are camping out.
Right.
There are a lot of bona fide collectors that just want something to rip that are part of this as well.
Right.
And they've been driven to retail because they can't afford hobby box prices anymore.
Mm-hmm.
$350 for a box of score? Who's going to buy that?
Right.
I mean, and $1,000 for what was it? Donruss basketball?
Yeah.
$275 for Bowman baseball?
Yeah.
And this really gets to a point that I want to make here, and that is the hobby distribution model is broken in this hobby. If you're an LCS, and if you want to buy direct from a card manufacturer, unless you're willing to buy like everything they make and spend a lot of money, which a lot of these mom and pop card shops can't do, you're buying through a distributor.
Mm-hmm.
And how many distributors are there? There's maybe what? There's GTS, Southern Hobby, Magazine Exchange, and maybe 4 or 5.
Yeah.
A handful of them. And just the sheer amount of buying power that these distributors have, that they can really, now I don't want to accuse them of doing anything illegal. That is my day job, in case people didn't know. I work for the Federal Trade Commission and antitrust enforcement. So I want to be careful in how I phrase this, but when you only have like maybe 3, 4, 5 companies controlling how much wax is out on the market, you're going to see some level, whether or not they coordinate or not, of price manipulation. And I think that's part of the reason I think that we're seeing wax being inflated so high, and that collectors really can't afford either. And also the trading card manufacturers have increased their prices in wax as well.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, one of the things that I've been here trying to figure out or try to start doing is when I talked about this, I talked about this a little bit with Val before the show, was going after taking the rookies, and because I love football, I absolutely love football. So I'm going to go after, and of course I'm going to go after some score football rookies, but I'm going on sport lots. I'm going on sport lots. I'm going to pull it from somewhere else, and I'll at the Dallas Card Show. Let everybody else, this Bowman craze. I bought my Bowman Chrome set from Breakers at the Dallas Card Show, like in December. I bought them for pennies on the dollar because they broke all the product looking for the hits and looking for the autographs. And I'm like, y'all go ahead. I'll buy them Bowman Chrome verse off of you for like $1 a piece. So, and now I got a couple of really nice Bowman Chrome first sets besides the Dominguez, that I'm just like, they're beautiful. I mean, and why? It's same thing. Why would you pay for it's like it's in the cars. Let somebody else take that first bump hit. I'll go buy the used car. They're the one that's got the little extra mileage on it. Why take that first bump when all of a sudden all you got to do is just go, meh, I'll go buy them someplace else. And that's where things, I think if you're even a collector, or it's a different form of the hobby, that we're going to have to go. Now, is it John Newman said it perfect on his podcast this week. One of the most fun things in the hobby is to rip open a pack.
Right.
I mean, if you're jonesing that much, there's options. I mean, every year there's opening day. There's big league that's about to come. Now I know.
I love the
opening day.
I understand, but it's an option. You have a choice. So it's not a great choice, but it's a choice. Am I saying it? I'm just trying to help. I'm just trying to help a brother out. Why are you giving me back?
Well,
I would also say you're not getting that same nostalgia, if you will, like if it's
Heritage.
current year product or whatnot. But if you're feeling that urge and you want to get that rip, you want to rip some packs, maybe going to your local LCS and grabbing some old junk wax,
Yeah,
or something too, to get that rip. And again, going back to maybe adapting and chasing after and buying those singles or those cards of those players that you're going after and just buying them raw. But
yeah, 90 Donruss. Let's see, 90 tops. Let's go after. I'm trying to think. 91 Fleer. Go out. I mean, there are options if you really want to that are really cool. Have stars. Have players. Have rookie cards. Just all I'm trying to say is just try something. If you really need, otherwise, there's this other option. Now, this is a great option. There you go, Kevin Jones, 90 Pro set. You can find 90 Pro set. Great set. A lot of rookies.
Green.
Cool. I know.
And I think that's true. Fall 5 ball has a good comment. He says 99% of the hobby flips. And I think that's something to kind of touch on or talk about, because if you sell any cards, like if you're selling just cards to, recoup your spending within the hobby or whatever, you could be classified as a flipper, right? Like anybody who sells cards, you're flipping cards one way or another, whether you're doing it and you're maximizing and tripling up your $20 blasters that you scored at a store for $60, $80, $100 or whatever the price may be, or if you're selling cards, even like me, I do sports card auctions and I usually sell stuff I lose on most things that I could post on eBay, whatever. But at the end of the day, that's still classified as flipping cards in my own personal opinion. I think people see things differently, but I would agree with what he states there, that 99% of the hobby flips. So one way or another. Agree,
Well,
disagree, Chris?
I think the term flipper is a bit of a loaded term.
yeah. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah. I think when we're talking about flippers, we're talking about people who buy stuff and then just immediately try and sell it
Right.
and aren't really interested in collecting cards or ripping the cards.
Right.
All right. Well, then let's
So,
let me
well,
do
you're
full
right.
disclosure.
99% of collectors do sell cards
Some form
in
of
some form.
sell, flip. Yeah.
Well, here's the full disclosure. That my job, I went full time in the hobby. So, would you consider me a flipper, even though I still
You're one
collect?
of them.
I'm okay.
No.
So, and again, full
No.
disclosure. But I don't stand in line in Target. I don't like. I do very specific things that just but I earn my living through full time in the hobby. So full disclosure to everybody watching, I consider myself a collector and a seller. I don't take
No,
it, and so I think that's the distinction we need to make. If at some point you are collecting or you have a collection or does that necessarily 100% call you a flipper? Or is a flipper just someone who doesn't collect and I really need this distinction for my own sake because I don't want to be a flipper.
But I think like Chris touched on too. There's different categories, if you will, and I don't know that we're ever really going to, because it's going to be different, right? It's going to be different based on how each person views it or sees it or their opinion of it. Like there's probably a lot of people out there that disagree with either what I say or Chris says, right? Like they don't see it that way. And it's just like anything. Like everybody's going to have an opinion or have what they feel is right.
Yeah.
So where's the actual fact, or where's the actual the real reality? I mean, I don't know if we can really ever put our finger exactly right on what's what. I mean, I think we all have a pretty good idea, but I think you're always going to have people out there that are seeing it differently.
Well, one of the things that I've always said that I really value Chris's opinion. I really do. I mean, and Chris is a core hobbyist through and through. He's an old school collector. He's one of the old guard that's come up through. So
I'm waiting for the butt here. Go on, keep going,
So when we get into conversations like this, that's why I ask for his opinion, is because it matters to me. It shouldn't. It really shouldn't. But there's the but.
There's the butt.
There's that but.
There's the but. But it kind of does, because you want that respect, or you want that. You don't want to. I don't want to do anything to disrespect, for lack of a better phrase, the core hobbyists, because there should be some sort of, and I'm not saying reverence or whatever, but our hobby or our industry has a long history. It has a long, and I guess for me, I was brought up to respect that. So when when a core hobbyist says something, I kind of perk up my ear, and that's why so I'll shut up now. I'm not going to put myself
Yes,
in.
I do agree with you. People like me should be elevated. We should be put on pedestals, have statues made of us.
And I think at the same time, my buddy Matt Balsley actually just put there: flip, sell, or collect. Let the hobby be whatever you want it to be. And I think that's true. I think sometimes, and that's just like anything. I think we devote, or we focus, or spend too much time on a lot of what's out of our control, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what somebody else does is there's a hard way to control that. I don't know. I think I just agree with what he said there and that statement. I think it's we all gonna do our thing one way or another, but there's ways like Target pulling product out, changing prices, limited quantities, that can pull that flipper out of what they're what they've been up to or what they've been doing, and ultimately probably drive some of them out of the hobby, which again is fine.
Yeah. And I was sitting here reading the comments and Matt's comment of flip, sell, or collect. I mean, it goes right back to the core of what I always say is you do you, boo. And
Right.
John Newman's, hobby your way, as long as it's legal and as long as you're not hurting anybody, then as long as you're not breaking the law, then what's the deal? So that's the part that keeps coming, that keeps running through my mind whenever we get into this discussion, which leads into, and I know this is a great topic and kind of segue, and one that Chris Harris near and dearly loves into his heart, and talking about cook groups and bots.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
I mean, this actually pushes people towards cook groups and bots. It pushes people towards learning about that, and it brings to light that anybody with X amount of dollars to spend per month, you can get everything that you want by going into cook groups and bots. I'm not going to speak for Chris. I'm going to let Chris speak for himself. But as a technology guy, I go, as a hobbyist, I'm like, really? It's not fair. But do you join in to make the fight fair, or this is a dichotomy that I'm having within myself, because again, it goes back to respecting the core collector. However, as a entrepreneur, then how do I make the fight fair? Bots and cook groups. So there's a huge dichotomy. And Chris, I know where you stand, but I'm gonna let you jump in here and y'all who want to, please join in, because I have this
guys, call
dichotomy.
in. Drop the link again.
All right, I'll drop it again. But help me with this dichotomy of should I jump in on this or not? And it's not me personally, but I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people out there with this problem. So,
well, I think I want to, instead of answering your question, that's up for you to decide. If you want to join a bot group, knock yourself out. I think this goes. I think that this whole model of distribution, and I want to go back to something that
go ahead.
Said before, is this really the best way to distribute product to your core consumer? These online releases. I don't know. I don't know what that model is that's going to ensure that your best customers, the guys that have been with you for decades, are able to get your product. And maybe here's a suggestion. And if anybody from Topps or Panini is out there, run with this. Create something almost like a collector's club, or you could take like the 582 Montgomery Club.
Yeah.
And every time you release a new product, you just give your club members the right to buy a box at market price. No bots needed. There, you've just defeated. You've been able to get your product to your core customers and made an end run around these bots.
Yeah.
Just a suggestion.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I think yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a fan either of the whole botting and all that stuff, but I think Chris, I think you hit on a good point. I think that would kind of eliminate all the BS, and I'll take that out of the realm, and you know, then you got more of those core collectors as well, you know, happy, satisfied, you know, not angry, not pissed off because they're not able to get the product. So
So do you open the Montgomery 582 club you have a
Well,
Montgomery
I just use
582?
582 as an example. It doesn't have to
Oh
be
yeah,
that
okay.
club.
So
that
It
let's
could be something else.
yeah.
so let's you've got a 580 or a I guess a good a 111 club, and then you've got a 582 club. So
I mean, why not, right?
yeah,
Why not?
or you become let's do this. So the Krogers of the world, and they've got their club where you go in, you scan your card, and you get a special discount. Well, what if they did the same thing for Topps Panini? What if you had your value card or your whatever deal club membership that you scan? So let's go with that thought, because I was watching, and I'm gonna reference Ziggy's deal that he had with a bot cook group guy, where if you did that, you still had the ability to sublet that by having false addresses and false credit card numbers in the credit card number tree. So there's ways around being able to do that, where with my address you can manipulate my address, and with my credit card you could create false credit cards. So, and that's not it's borderline illegal, but it's not. I mean, it's just like creating different links with one master link. So, I mean, there's ways to combat that, but how does that I don't know, that I'm thinking all over the place and trying to combat it, and then I come up with a different defense or a different, and maybe that's my tech security guy background, bob and weave, bob and weave, bob and weave. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Chris, what do you think? I mean,
Well, maybe instead of like putting this registration online, you take it offline. If you want to apply for this buying club membership, you have to go in person to like your local card shop who will vouch for you.
That's interesting, because then you make the card shops the distributor, where
In a way.
Yeah, where the LCSs get the stock, or you order through the LCS like you did.
I mean, I'm just throwing ideas out here. I don't know if these are practical.
Well, here's another thing. You see what Matt Balsley's, maybe I'm not educated enough, but why doesn't Panini or Topps do a subscription box service with option of monthly and yearly subscriptions? Where they could.
That's actually a pretty good idea, Matt.
That is.
Matt, that is a very good idea. That's why I stuck out. I was like, oh wait.
That's a pretty good idea. I'm like, why didn't I come up with that?
Right, but
Well,
are you then going to be stuck with the products that you don't want? Like, for example, if you're a Topps subscriber, are they going to make you buy like Garbage Pail Kid boxes in order to keep your membership?
I think it would be something just very similar as buying from for lack of a better phrase, an eBay drop shipper, or not an eBay, excuse me, an FBA of an Amazon fulfillment, where you're not really buying from a particular person. You're just passing paperwork through through the LCS and giving them 1 or 2 points or 1 or 2 percentage points to let them be the pass through and blessing, for lack of a better phrase. And if you catch that gray market from the LCS, they lose their Tops license. You know, you could do that because they do that in the IT world for gray marketing, where this is me going back into where, you know, you've got a reseller that's supposed to sell brand new product. Well, you've got an LCS that's supposed to sell these boxes. Well, the reseller takes anywhere from 5 to 10 points. The LCS gets 1 to 2 points, and all they're doing is passing through the paper to say, this is a valid order. Tops, could you drop ship fulfillment, or do you want to come pick it up at the LCS? Either way. So if they can, then it gives them the opportunity to upsell, resell, whatever you want. Hey, I've got this card here, building the relationship, that type of thing. So then Tops or whoever has that sale, LCSs get a little bit more credibility, and there's your monitor, for lack of a better phrase. That's not a bad idea at all whatsoever. And then you've got your Montgomery or your other things that you could do. That's interesting. That's an interesting concept that I didn't even think about or realize was going. So yeah. Right. Yeah. I'm going to the comments. Let's see. Retail should have their own exclusive. Retail is rendered to base cards worthless. I don't.
Well, retail has its own exclusive products.
Yeah, they've already got that.
Fire, Tops Gallery, Bowman Platinum. They're not very good products, but they do have exclusive products.
Yeah, let's see. I would think the boxes would have categories. Oh, here we go. Let's bring Logan in on. We got it. We got Logan coming in.
Oh, we have a caller. All right.
What's up? What's up? Can't wait to give you a big old wet sloppy kiss. What's going on, man?
I'm giving you a big hug when I see you, dude.
There you go. There you go. Just don't pick me up.
I can pop your back for you.
There you go. That works.
So you know, talking about trying to get product to the hobbyists and the collectors, you know, I'm a big Kansas fan, and I belong to their fan club. And when they have tickets on sale for an event or something, like in my area, you know, they have a deal where go to this link the day before and buy your tickets. And then the next day, you know, the general public can buy their tickets. I mean, you could do something like that maybe.
Yeah.
Don't they already do that though?
Yeah. And that's broken.
And then the earlier links somehow leak and they get bought up.
That's true. I didn't think about that. Yeah. There's always that.
Well, and then then it becomes the responsibility of we'll say the marketing department or somebody to go find out where did that link come from. Right. Then it becomes the corporate responsibility of where did that come from and whose hands do we slap and who do we let go for that particular reason, because then you're talking about, and this is again then you're talking about corporate espionage. Because of and you're talking about legal areas of you know, leaking information that shouldn't have been leaked, or was it strategically leaked on purpose by the market? You know,
yeah, you never know. You're right, but you can still have logins and things, you know, and be a member, and still be limited to say, hey, you can buy 1-2 boxes, you know, whatever.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know that I don't know that there's a good way to control this. I mean, you know, with given all the technology and all the ways people can do the bots and everything these days, I mean, I just don't know that there's a good answer for any of this. And I know Tops, Panini, all these guys are racking their brains over trying to find out, you know, a fair, nice way to do it.
Yeah. I don't know what the answer is. And for right now, come on, what do you think about the bots and the cook groups? I mean, is that a way to fight fair, or is it cheating?
Well, you know, I'm an IT guy. I've been in IT all my life.
Yep.
You know, I'm not a programmer. You know, I'm just a networking IP phone guy. And so, I'm sure I could figure out how to do the bots if I really, really wanted to do that. But do I think it's fair? No, not really, because, that's not a skill set that most people have. I mean, like I said, I'm an IT guy and I don't have that skill set. I don't know about you, Brad, but.
Well, for X number of dollars a month, we'll get a little techie here, but for X dollars a month, I could go buy or rent a server and have somebody else do it for me, and then I just reap the rewards. I mean,
You could.
That's a reality. I mean, and it's perfectly legal, but is it moral and cheating? That's the question, I guess, of the question of the day, and I don't know what the answer is, and that's it's almost to the point where if you want to make it a fair fight.
Yeah, because it's not a fair fight, that's for sure.
I'm not pushing this. I'm not, because the last time I mentioned bots on here for 3 weeks, I got slammed for it. I'm telling you, I'm just asking the question because I don't know what the answer is.
I don't either.
That's my deal. I would love for some more core hobbyists to call in and join in this discussion, because it is a true dichotomy with flippers and the young guns. I call them the young guns more than I do because they're the young guns. They're the new guys. They are smart. They're fast on the draw. They're quick. So I call them young guns. So I'm going to try to change that to young guns. And here comes the man, the myth, the legend himself. There he is, sporting the new look, Mr. Kevin Jones. So what is up, big guy? Yes.
Hey, I'll just hop on quick, but as I've said for the last year, I think that Topps and Panini should do a rolling pre-sale of a retail-based product for directly through their website, basically, like a 14-day pre-sale. Maybe cap it at 5. Do a blaster format, and then based on those pre-sale numbers, as you see those coming in, you can determine how much you need to put on the shelves as well. But you do, I think, a one-time rolling pre-sale for each product, and then no one gets shut out. I mean, I don't know what people think of that. I don't know if that waters down the product. Or leads to overproduction, but I think Topps and Panini could gauge what the production looks like based on those pre-sale numbers, and then adjust what they release to the market. It seems like it could be a really simple compromise, but I don't know if that's a realistic option or not.
Well, let me. I don't want to rebut, but let me add another train of thought out there. This pre-production or this pre-order, whatever you're talking, they have to do this a year in advance. They have to give these numbers to Cardamundi a year in advance or 6 months in advance. If you're only doing a 14-day window, how are you doing a 6-month prediction? Because if you jump out of line, you're not going to be able to jump back in line very easily to do more product. So if you whiff, you're out. So what are your thoughts on that, Kevin?
Well, I mean, if it means having to do the pre-sale for, say, 2021 Prism basketball now for next year, so be it. I don't know. I mean, it just seems like the way it seems like doing a pre-sale window is the way to go. Logistically, I think you raised some good questions. I'm not quite 100% sure, but I feel like there could be a way to do a pre-sale period for people. It's just like people probably with Steel City or whatever are locking in prices on product well in advance. I don't know. It's just something I've always thought would seem to be a way that it could work.
Chris, what are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on that? I mean,
That's kind of the way that a lot of the tops print to order cards like Project 70 and Project 2020 were. There was a small window in which you can get the cards, and they just print it to order. How would a set that's printed to order? Well, if you think about it, I mean, most sets are printed to order now.
yeah.
I mean, hobby dealers put their orders in, and then Topps figures out how much to produce, and they produce
exactly.
that much.
You kind of begin production as you normally would through whoever makes the cards, and you do this pre-sale period, and then based on what those numbers, you could do a 7-day pre-sale period. It wouldn't have, I wouldn't be locked in on that. And again, cap it at 5, so people aren't going nuts and ordering like 1 million boxes or something. You have to set up an account, and you just go from there, and you kind of follow your production processes that you have historically in place, and then can gauge how much more you need based on the pre-sale.
Okay, so
I'm sure that like Topps and Panini is still printing whatever products are hitting the shelves right now. I mean, I'm sure those presses are still running.
So here's a question for you, as a let's go as a young gun kid for mindset for a minute, because I can create false credit card numbers. I can create false addresses. I can create I can create those types of things. How would you, Kevin, combat that as a pre-sale? Because I can create infinitely number of accounts and create infinite number of credit cards, an infinite number of addresses, an infinite number. What are your thoughts on that, on counterbalancing that? If you don't have an answer, that's okay. I'm trying to think out of the box and doing and
well, the way I look at it is that if it's available to everybody, it kind of takes the luster away.
Woo, there you go.
There you go.
You're not, because basically I don't think we're ever going to see retail come back in a normal format. Even when the hobby mellows out, which I think it's beginning to mellow out a little bit, people are still going to always swipe the shelves because they realize there's a demand for that, and they can mark it up to meet that demand. Now, blasters might not be going for $120. They might be back to, I remember complaining when optic basketball was $40 on the secondary market and being like, oh, this is terrible. So I don't think it's ever people are always going to swipe the shelves now. Always. The cat's out of the bag on that. So
one thing too was that was something we were talking about pre-show when we were talking about the Target stuff. Like, do we think, we don't know right now, but will Targets and Walmarts continue to like do that limit or have a limitation, like even when it rolls back in, and maybe these new price points? There's a lot of things we're questioning.
I think it that could die down in the future. Again, as the hobby mellows out. But again, I don't know. Maybe, but it seems like there's always going to be a demand. People are always going to swipe the shelves of all the basketball, probably all the football. I just think that that's the new reality, unfortunately, which is why this has to move online somehow.
Well, and then you've got Foul 5 comment of exclusive is not good for the hobby. What about the kids? Dude, we're talking about the kids. The kids are the ones that are online doing creating this stuff, and they're the ones that are faster on the draw than we are, and they're the ones that are. The kids are the ones that are buying the stuff up. The kid that I saw was maybe 13, 14 years old, and I'm learning from him how to do this. So, what about the kids? You could throw that out because they're the one that I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. But you cannot say Yes, you did hear a cat. You can't say what about the kids anymore, because an online or hobby or online world, that's where they live. That's where they are. So what about the kids that doesn't exist when you're talking about an online exclusive? Because there's ways around that. So I
Yeah,
understand.
and I'm not talking about an online line exclusive. I'm talking about the actual product that's set to hit shelves. The kids, we were talking the other night on Clubhouse, and somebody was saying just make a purely hit-free product. No parallels, no autos, no relics, no nothing. Even like a more watered down version of Big League, so to speak. If you want a product for the kids, no hits, no parallels, no numbers, no relics, no autos, do that.
Then you go back to Dr. Beckett's whole product for kids discussion, which I think is, I think they need to do. I think they need to do something like that.
And to talk about, when I was a kid, I opened packs, but I was happy just getting the complete set every year. There's no shortage of a complete 2021 Topps baseball set. Like when those come, like if it's for the kids, as a dad, if I was a dad, I'd buy my kid the Topps complete baseball set every year, whether they wanted it or not, and just stash them or give them to him when he's 12 or whatever, so that's an entry point, is the complete set. And then you get all the rookies and all the Hall of Famers and everything.
I think that collecting complete sets these days is kind of a lost art. Most of us here are old school. We collect sets. I'm on the PSA registry just so I can collect sets. But, my son, he's in his 30s. He has no desire to collect a set. He just collects the players he likes and the cards he wants. And who cares about a set? He doesn't care. And I got a kid next door that's the same way. He doesn't care about sets. He just wants the people he likes, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna let you go there, Mr. Logan, and we're gonna bring somebody else on.
All right.
I'll hop off too. Thanks, guys.
See you guys.
Hold on 1 second. I gotta hop off for a moment.
Sure. Yep. And let's see. Thanks, Logan. What's up, Ziggy? No. What's up?
Hey, gentlemen. How you guys doing?
Good, man.
Listen, I want to add
your opinion real quick, and I
want to add the
real quick
thing. Look, I'm a huge fan of kids. I'm a father of 4 boys. Okay, my boys have been in and out of the hobby. But what I'll keep saying to you is the '90 kid was a totally different thing. I had a Mattingly rookie. Okay, it was worth money when I was a kid. Probably, I don't know, 40, 50 bucks. I couldn't sell it to save my life. Okay, so I collected it. Today is the 2021. Kids have e-commerce experience. They have phones, devices. They understand money. If they get a card, they know how to look it up on eBay. They see the value. They're not dumb. If you take value out of cards, they're not going to collect. So we need to stop with this whole, we're protecting the kids. The kids are going to get into it. They will through their parents. I'll also say kids have short attention spans. Most of them don't collect forever. They collect for a period of time. Like my 4 sons, my oldest son collected for a few years. He's not as into it as much. He'll come back to it in the future. So I do agree with you, the kids, but remember, kids are very money focused. That's why these botting kids are doing it, right? If you're a 16-year-old, you can make money on cards. Yeah. And that's what they're doing, right? So think about the kids from that perspective. Every time I hear somebody say, oh, we're taking it for the kids, all I think to myself is you're using that as an excuse, but you're not thinking about the kids. And just correct me if I'm wrong. Again, if you have a kid, you have kids out there who are either under 8, they don't understand value, and they're copying their mother or father who opened them. But as soon as they understand there's value, a kid's going to come and go, hey, Dad, I want to buy that at the store. Can I sell my baseball card? You told me it's worth $50. Can I sell that? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I guess it goes back to what do we consider a kid? Because there is now
you got the
a dichotomy between,
like you said earlier, the people that are botting and doing whatever are the teenagers, the early 20s, right?
Well, also, I'll tell you from the interview, the way I get it, I think there's some very big money in it, right? He mentioned that KSR bot is an $18,000 bot. I'm going to bet you there's a big person behind that, right? Yeah. I talked to somebody else who came to me who said that They've been using a bot. They're a toy collector and collector of other things. They've been using bots for years, not just for sports cards, from everything from video games to whatever. It's part of their inventory, right? And I will say bots, I've always had kind of a weird feeling about it too. I mean, I work in cybersecurity. I help defend against bots, but there are some good bots, and we have to be aware of the fact that's happening. And the one thing I'll keep saying, the whole problem here, all this anger and frustration, we really need to point it back at the manufacturer. Okay, Panini is at fault. Panini sat there and said, "Oh, we're doing modified pricing." No, what you're doing is you're raping me on pricing for hobby, which is what drives up the price of retail. If seriously, we need to get the NBA to stop exclusive licensing. If you enter Topps and UD into this, they would compete for your business. They would find creative ways to get that product to us. But right now, with exclusive license, and Topps has got me, and Target and Walmart make lots of money in this. That's another takeaway. They don't care about the whining. They care about it at the stores, but they really don't care in general. They're making money. And think of this: if that story with a gun happened at Walmart, it would have just been on the crazy shit that happens at Walmart website.
Well, let's also, and I was thinking about this from the Target aspect or from the Walmart aspect. The manager there has a number to hit. The manager has
Bonuses.
he is told you have to hit an X sales number, and he's incentivized to go over that. Well, what's hot right now? Sports cards.
Yep.
If you took away a fast selling flipping out of my repertoire, and then you tell me it's going to affect my bonus, I would find a way as a local Target or something. I'd find a way. A way, because now you're affecting now you're taking money out of me and my kid's pocketbook. So
I agree with you. I think it's a challenge. I'll also say this. I really do believe, unfortunately, the correction is coming. All this will add to that, right? Because here's what Panini heard. If you listen to Panini's interview, he said, I could make 50% more product today and no one would care or know. I can't because he doesn't have the materials. So What does that mean to me? It means they're going to make it. So you think we got a lot of retail now? 2022 is going to have more. And 2023, they're planning. So we just have, again, this is a storm. It's all going to add to it. I look at these people. I mean, I see a lot of people in Facebook groups who have storerooms of retail product. We all know, if you've been in the hobby, retail's the worst. So yeah, you think you're a genius because you got a bunch of blaster boxes that in the past have gone up exponentially. I personally think in a few years, you're going to be sitting on a lot of not totally valueless, but the value is going to decrease. Right? I as a collector, I have no interest in retail except for my kids. If I get retail, I'd rather sell it and buy a hobby box. Right? So I think the economy eventually would get there, but the fastest way, I just wish when people talk about flippers and all the problems and the bots, let's look at the number one problem in the hobby. The number one problem is exclusive licenses. No other industry has monopolies and prints and has corruption. It is all because of that. And again, if they care, like here's a great idea, Panini and Topps. Why don't you exchange licenses a little bit? In other words, give Topps the ability to say, look, Topps, I'm going to let you print Chrome next year. You can only print so many, and you're going to let me print baseball with licenses. That they could do some
I would love Donruss rated rookies being logoed.
It would be, and think about that. Then it'd be a collectibles item, right? Because then that Donruss, for example, Topps Chrome basketball coming out in 2022 would be collectible. Everybody would want it. Its value would go up. Panini would cap it. They'd say you can only make so many. They'd know Topps is going to make it. In return, they would get access to a baseball product that they could make exclusive, right? So you have some. We've got to put pressure. I really want us to put pressure on the licensees, the NBA, NFL. They need to be more aware of what's going on. If they were aware, I think they would say, you know what, business makes sense. We want competition. There's no, in fact, if you listen, I'll stop after this. If you listen to the podcast, Wax Museum podcast, they point out that the reason Panini got the exclusive license to basketball in 2012 was because basketball sucked. And for the first 4 or 5 years, they did a very good job because they wanted to keep people, onto it. And then they renewed, and we've just kind of been sitting there sleeping at it. We made a mistake in 2012 as a community. We need to correct it.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you get.
Go ahead, Siggy, and I would agree on the whole. The manufacturers are at fault, but the one thing you hear about too from a lot of these breakers, etc., and whoever, not all of them, but there's some that I know personally that are saying like, who's actually setting the MSRP? Who's actually setting that retail price or that sell price? Right? that's changed? Because from what I'm hearing is that on a lot of this product that's $1,000 a box or whatever that people are pricing these at or retailing them at, if you will, or whatever price logic you want to use, is that they're still getting them for the $100 or $200 a box. They're
Yes.
still getting them from the manufacturer at that price, right?
They're
It's that
allocated.
the market is now being set at whatever price that they're pricing it at. So I guess that's my only little, I agree with you on the manufacturing. The only thing I wonder about or I question is if they're still selling it or setting it at a price to the breakers, to the distributors, to whoever at $100 or $200 a box, but now we're pricing it at $1,000 or $1,500 a box. Where is that? I mean, I know the
So
demand.
let me answer that real quickly. So what used to be, you're right, breakers used to get allocation. And when they get an allocated product, it'd say to them, this is $120 cost. The suggested retail price is $220 or $240.
Right.
I don't think they're getting told suggested retail price from Panini anymore. Topps, I still think does. Okay. And this is what I will say. This bothers me more. If you want to complain about flippers, a flipper is completely transparent. You know how much he paid for it. You know how much he sold it for. A breaker is completely shady. You don't know if they got it at allocated prices or if they paid aftermarket. They will tell you all that they are pricing it at the market price, right? Leighton Sports Cards is the most allocated breaker in the hobby. They used to have competitive pricing back in 2016, 17. They haven't had that in years. They are, and because of that, that causes this whole battle in the distribution. In fact, distribution is very corrupt. Another way to fix this is make the manufacturers get rid of disty. Okay, the only thing disty has done in the past is it packed the channel when you had crappy products. It made you buy crappy products to get the good products. If all the products are good right now, then all disty is they're corrupt. Because you're absolutely right. Blowout, for example, is the worst offender. Blowout used to price cards at suggested retail price. Now they're the ones that go out and price it at $3,000. And what does Panini do? They wait and see, hey, did people accept it at $3,000? Oh, they took it at $2,000. So let's go at $1,700. So again, there's so much greed and corruption. And I'll just say again, we don't see that as a consumer, what those real prices are. Like, for example, how much do you think a blaster box is sold from Panini to the disty at? I'm going to guess probably around $5.
Yeah.
Right? Think about that, which also tells you that they intended to put $5 worth of value in the box. You see what I'm saying? So again,
okay, so
that's why I love the conversation, guys.
Now we could get into a whole secondary market of why that a blaster box is actually selling for, but there's no like. Then you're talking about the market being the market. I understand that you're talking about. So when you get a LaMelo Ball silver, that's you can that the secondary market is saying, hey, this is let's go ridiculous $100,000 card.
Yep.
And you have the ability to get that out of a $20 blaster.
That's what drives the value. I agree.
Exactly. So
Yep.
you can't at 100% fault.
Let me ask you this. You guys are collectors. Is a silver LaMelo Ball valuable? And that's a double-sided question because in my opinion, as an old collector, no. I want autos and relics. Shiny is BS, especially if it's not numbered.
Okay,
and what's
so
happened,
let me go this one step
here's what's
further
happened, though.
and kill your argument.
It used to be silver prisms, but now it's anything shiny. A hoop's shiny. Think about that. Why is
Let me kill your argument then and say, let me kill your argument and say, okay, how about a Fernando Tatis Heritage rookie card? That is $100,000, and the market says it's $100,000. You pulled the shiny out of it. You pulled it into. So you can take that argument and you can throw it completely out the window by pulling it into a different product.
In the future, in my opinion, these values on these base cards will be gone. I mean, I know there'll be some that will hold value. People say, well, Trout's going to always have value. And I agree that. But dude, every rookie is not worth money. They're just not. And we know, and most of us in the hobby, and you're seeing that, like people are now just realizing that just because it's his first year on an Optic card isn't have value, right?
Yeah.
All this stuff that last year people thought was great. And that's another thing. A year later, most of the people are becoming educated to some level. And education is something you can't learn overnight. You can tell a person brand new to sports cards all the rules of sports cards, and they're going to go out there and break them.
Well, yeah, because the rules are the rules are now being readjusted and redefined. So
anyway, guys, I thank you. I love listening. I got to drop off. I got a crazy day, but awesome show. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for joining. Appreciate it.
Chris,
Wow.
go ahead, man. You've been itching to talk for a
Yeah,
while.
I know. I'm like, I'm going to shut
I
up.
think
now. Just
Ziggy
let
had
him go.
like 5 or 6 topics that I wanted to
Go, baby, go. We're in
discuss, but
overtime,
he
and I'll
just
be as
kept.
long as we're going.
Now I've
as
kind
we
of
want to be.
forgotten what I wanted to say.
I just kept looking at Chris like he just wants
Yeah.
to go.
Well, I know one of them was licensing, and you just
Yeah,
went up and down
exclusive
like a schoolgirl.
licensing. But there's a reason why companies, why the leagues deal with exclusive licensing.
Right. It's
And
simple.
that is, and this goes all the way back to like 15 years ago with Madden football, is that companies are willing to pay a premium for that exclusivity. So it's better to have one licensee that's paying X number of dollars than 2 licensees that are paying X divided by $3. Leagues have figured that out. So yes, exclusive licensing is a problem, but I don't think it's going away anytime soon. Other thing, kiddie products. I'm not a kid anymore, but I used to be a kid. And if there's one thing I know about being a kid is that kids don't like being marketed to. They don't like being condescended to.
Right.
And that's part of the reason why kiddie products have never really taken off in the hobby, whether that's triple play or big league to a certain extent, because, kids don't like being treated as kids. If you want a kid style product that isn't a kiddie product, why not bring back something like Upper Deck Victory? That was a great product. Big comprehensive set with no inserts. Try that. I think it might sell well today. What else did he say? I had all these. I need to have a notebook and write down what he was saying, but
Well, feel free. I mean, we're in overtime. I'm going to hang out for a little bit longer. Anybody else want to come in and join in the festivities? Feel free. I know he did pack a lot into his, and I've known Ziggy for a while. Ziggy and I talk offline. That's why I can get into a discussion with Ziggy and get that way. So I'm giving full disclosure as to why we got that way. That's just back and forth banter. There's no back end on that. Yeah, that's just a healthy debate. And
yes, the hobby distribution system is broken. That's another thing. Yeah, I already mentioned that before earlier.
Let's talk about rookie cards and a heritage rookie card not being worth $100,000. His point
lost on that $100,000 Tatis heritage card. Like just a standard non-auto is $100,000.
No. I pulled it completely out of left field. X player, X player out of a heritage versus X player out of a prism.
I was like, I missed something somewhere. Sometime.
No, I was trying to pull a different. Oh, so you're talking prism silver versus. Right. Which is it? Let's go Topps Chrome Refractor versus a Heritage rookie card. The perceived value or the perceived market desire for Heritage versus Topps versus the shiny, for lack of a better phrase. In my opinion, there really isn't a difference. A rookie card is a rookie card is a rookie card. And the only thing that tells me that there's a different value is eBay comps or market mover value or whatever. I mean, Chris, I'm gonna lay this right at you. I mean, what other than the market telling me that there's a difference? Is there a difference?
Well, there is. I think that has to do with the brand and the brand legacy. I mean, there's a reason why Topps base rookies sell well, and they're worth a lot of money. Like whether it's the Trout rookie or the Tatis rookie. I mean, these are what? A Tatis rookie is worth what? $200, $250 for a base flagship card?
Yeah.
There's a reason for that. And it's because of brand loyalty. This is a brand that's been around for 70 years. A lot of people collect that brand. A lot of people, I mean, a lot of the tent pole rookies of years ago were from this brand, the 52 Tops Mantle, the 55 Clemente, the 69 Nolan Ryan, Jerry Kuzman card. They were from this particular brand. And because they were from this particular brand, I think that adds a little value to it. But when you have off brands like
Donruss.
Well, I would put Donruss in a different category because it's not licensed.
Okay, then maybe
And I don't consider
let's stick
them
with
true
Heritage.
rookie cards because they're not licensed.
Let's stick with Heritage.
But other brands like, I don't know, Bowman Platinum,
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Topps Fire, Gallery, these kind of off brands. I mean, their rookie cards may be scarcer, but they're not in as much demand because, again, these are brands that don't have that legacy.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
And knowing is half the battle.
Yes.
Yo, Joe, G.I. Joe. All three of us at the same time.
Yeah.
That's
That's how
awesome.
old we are.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's
Well,
just it. Like Fig says, first pack he remembered opening was 85 Tops. He was 9. Tops is king to him because of his childhood and history. I agree. I mean, that's really same kind of thing for me, you know. Bike into the local gas station, Tom Thumbs, or whatever,
Wow.
drugstores, and buying the packs for a quarter, 35 cents, whatever. So,
well, we're in hobby overtime.
You have any callers in the queue or
no callers in the queue? No, nothing. Let's see what. Oh, I mean, anybody want to go over? That Mets performance, or that we talked about, or we could go 91 Jordan, or we could call it. It's up to y'all.
I'm gonna have to run shortly, but I can.
Yeah, I think this is a good time to.
I think we just cue it.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
we had a good show this week, so
yeah.
I'll let you, Chris. Go ahead. Any final thoughts or anything you want to say?
One thing next week, while most of you guys are in Texas, this Friday night, I'll be in Chantilly, 5 to 8. Come and say hi if you see me. Also, in a couple of weeks, the Philly show is going to be running full capacity. It's the 11th, 12th, and 13th of June. For those that don't know, the Philly show is one of the oldest and most prestigious of the regional card shows. It's at the Valley Forge Convention Center. It used to be up in Fort Washington. And a lot of the old timers might remember it as the George Washington Motor Lodge show. And so been around since the 70s, runs 3 times a year. So if you're in the Philadelphia area that weekend, go full capacity. So
Cool.
That's where I'll be. And hopefully we're going to find out the next couple of weeks whether the National is going to be running at the end of July. I have a feeling that it's going to happen. So fingers crossed.
Jeff, what about you? Final thoughts?
Big thing, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to be at the Dallas show either after my last weekend travel deal. But I guess I just want to leave on this note. Again, try to use more of your energy, focus on more of what you enjoy within the hobby, within life, whatever it may be. If you have to adapt, you don't have to leave the hobby if you've been in it for a long time just because you can't afford to rip anymore. Find other ways to still get involved, to be a collector, find ways that you can enjoy it. And again, I think if you take less focus off of things that you can't control and less focus off of what others are doing or how they're doing things, I think you're going to find that you're going to enjoy it more and enjoy the hobby more. I mean, we discuss these things, we talk about these things because it's important, and it is, but at the same time, don't take up too much effort, too much energy focused on what others may be doing or are doing. Enjoy it. Continue to enjoy the hobby, and it's a great show, guys. Appreciate
Yep.
you being on. So
Yeah, so I want to reiterate that you do. I say it all the time. You do you, boo. Hobby your way. Don't let anybody steal your light. Don't let anybody tell you that you're doing wrong because if in your heart you're doing the right thing and you're treating people right and you're enjoying what you're doing and you're not ripping people off or you're not stealing or thieving or you, just don't let people steal your light. Understand that I'm not going to go down that path. I started going, but don't you do you. This is a hobby. This is supposed to be fun. This is supposed to be enjoyable. And if you're not, either switch or take a break, take a mental break, take a couple weeks break. So
and remember, we can all have a place in this hobby. You can all have your
exactly,
space.
exactly. And I'm going to leave it with this. If it is the back end of Mental Health Week. If you need any help whatsoever, there's 3 guys here that I know you could reach out to. There's every Hobby Hotline guest. Feel free to reach. If you're struggling, if you need help, if you need somebody to lean on, dude, reach out.
Yeah.
Reach out because we are a community, and we are here for one another. And I'll leave it on that note. Appreciate you for joining. I'll be in Dallas. If you see me, come up, shake a paw. I'd appreciate it. You do you, boo, and have a great day.